So master program on AWS with DevOps. Right, guys. So what we will cover in this course? So we'll cover, I already told you, right? So initially we'll start with Linux, then so cloud. So in between the cloud, so we'll discuss the DevOps tools, right? Initially we'll start with the Linux OS. Linux OS. So why we need to learn Linux OS? All the DevOps tools are developed from the Linux. They all the tools are working with the CLI only. All the DevOps tools are working with CLI commands. Means Linux commands. Okay. So that's the reason we are learning the Linux OS. Linux is a CLI OS. So yeah. So once we complete the Linux, we'll start the a cloud, guys. Which cloud we will start? We'll start the AWS. Which cloud, guys? So we'll start the AWS cloud. Okay. So what are the services we will discuss in the cloud? So I already told you, right? So AWS, so 15 plus services. So 15 plus services we'll discuss. So mostly the fundamental services are AWS EC2, okay, S3, VPC, IAM, okay, EC, yes, EKS, RDS, etc. We will discuss this. Okay, so the DevOps tools, like what are the DevOps tools we'll learn? Terraform, Terraform and Ansible, Git. So in the Git, we'll discuss about GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, Bitbucket, and other repos. So Ansible, Docker, Docker Hub, JFrog, Nexus, JProgram, Nexus will discuss Kubernetes, Jenkins, CI/CD, and we'll show you the GitLab CI/CD. Okay, Sonar Cube. Okay, so next is Sonar Cube. All these tools we will discuss in this class, guys. Okay, so in the Linux, what we will discuss, what is the OS? What is OS? Types of OSs. Types of OSs. Basic commands. Basic commands of Linux. File permissions. User administration. Disk partitions. And package management. Package management. package management, and mm, deploy the deploy the application, deploy the application, Apache, and Tomcat. Will show you Apache and Tomcat, guys. You guys understood? So what we will discuss in this course, we will discuss all these things. Initially, we'll understand all the so whatever the whatever the skills we need to learn the DevOps, will teach you the all these skills, guys. Guys, understood? Guys, speak out, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. Think. So initially, we'll start with Linux. So before going to Linux, okay, Linux is a operating system. So before starting to Linux, so what is a operating system, guys? What is operating system, guys? Does anyone knows what is operating system? Does anyone knows what is operating system? Yes, guys, tell me what is operating system. Okay, I will tell you. What this is? This is a OS. Okay, so this is a OS. Okay, so which laptops are you using, guys? Which company laptops are you using, guys? Guys, which company laptops are you using? What is the hardware of your laptop? HP, Dell, Asus, Lenovo. Guys, speak out, guys. So whenever you join the company, they will ask the questions. So that time also you are on mute, huh?
Using Dell laptops.
Which one?
Dell.
Very good. So Dell, yeah, guys. Prasanna Kumar, Habib,
HP, sir.
HP. Very good. HP.
MSI.
Hmm?
MSI.
What is MSI?
MSI laptop, sir.
MSI laptop, huh?
Yes, sir.
MSI. What is MSI, guys? MSI, yeah?
Yes, sir.
MSI means, let me check.
There is an MSI laptop.
Hmm?
There is an MSI laptop. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, guys. Okay. HP Dell laptop. Guys, which OS is installed on this machine? Dell? Saket?
It's Windows.
Windows? So flavor is Windows. Version is
11.
11. Very good. So what about you, Prasanna Kumar? Habib Prasanna Kumar? HP. So which OS is installed on this machine? Windows 10, for example. So this is the OS, right? So why we need a OS? So it's a hardware, right? So directly you can connect with the hardware, right? So why we need a OS on this laptop? Why we need a OS is installed on this laptop? I will tell you now. You will understand. So what this is, guys? This is a user. User is nothing but a you, right? This is the computer hardware. Okay, guys. Computer knows which language? Does anyone knows? Mission knows which language?
High level language function.
Yes,
Numbering
very good. Binary
binary
language.
language.
Binary language means
Ones and zeros.
very good. Ones and zeros and ones. Okay. So computer knows only zeros and ones. So user is nothing but a you guys. How you are interacting with the laptop guys? So you knows which language guys?
Only English using OS. We are
Yeah.
interfacing with that.
So only English, right?
Yes, sir.
You know only English. Computer knows only binary language. Is there is there any possibility to communicate with each other? No, because of you, computer knows only binary language, user knows only English language. User knows only English language. So that's the reason we are unable to communicate directly with the hardware. We are unable to directly communicate with the hardware. So that's the reason we need a we need a OS. So why we need OS? I will tell you. So why we need OS? So right, yeah. So OS knows both the languages. Both means zeros and ones. Right. So OS knows both the languages, zeros, ones, and English. English language. Right. You want to interact with the OS. How you can interact with the OS? You can interact with the OS. How you can interact with the hardware? You can interact with the hardware through OS only. So something like in the keyboard, you pressed something like you type. You provided the information something like a capital A. Right. So OS took that capital A and convert into binary language. Convert into binary language. Binary means zeros and ones. So vice versa. So whatever the computer gave, right, gave to the OS will convert it to the so high level language or a English language. Guys, now you understood. So what is a OS? OS is a mediator. Guys, tell me the meaning of OS. Just simple. It's a
It is.
mediator between user and computer.
Yeah.
Yes, understood? A simple meaning. What is OS, guys? Everyone can speak out. What is OS?
It's
It's
an
a
interface between
Mediator
hardware
between
and
user and computers.
human interface. Yeah.
very good. It's a interface or a mediator between user and computer. So why we need OS? Now you understood, right? So why we need OS? Now you understood. Yeah. So what is a OS, guys? It's a mediator between
Between
user
user
and
and computer.
computer. User and a computer. It's a simple meaning, guys. What is operating system? It's a mediator between user and computer. User unable to connect with the computer, computer unable to connect with the user because of user knows only English language, computer knows only binary language. So that's the reason we need a mediator. That mediator is a OS. That mediator is a OS. So I will give you a simple example, guys. So you guys can remember this one. Okay. Yeah. Who is this? Yeah. So this is Saket. This is Saket, and this is Habiba, something like Habib, and this is Hari. Okay. Saket knows only Telugu, and Habib knows only Hindi. Right. So Saket want to convey information to Habib, but Habib knows only Hindi language. Saket knows only Telugu language. So is there any possibility to communicate with each other, guys? No. So what we need, guys? What we need? We need a mediator. We need a mediator is knows both the languages. Knows both the languages. Hari is the mediator. Hari knows both the languages. So both the languages. Guys, understood? T H. Okay. Telugu and Hindi he knows. So whatever the Saket convey to the Hari translate from Telugu to Hindi and he convey to the Habib. Same like as whatever the information want to convey from Habib to Telugu, Habib to Saket, Habib will inform to the Hari will translate it and inform it to the Saket. Right? Guys, this is nothing but a voice. Same like as a OS. OS is a mediator. OS is a mediator which knows both the languages. Okay? Yeah, guys. So, guys, which mobile phones are using? Guys, which mobile phones are using?
Vivo,
Saket,
sir.
Vivo. Very
Uh,
good.
okay,
Vivo.
Vivo, which is an Android version.
Which hardware? Which hardware? I'm asking about hardware. Saket. OnePlus, Oppo, iQOO,
It's IQ,
I,
Android one. Yeah.
iQOO, right? Okay. So, for example, mine using OnePlus, for example. Okay. I'm using OnePlus. So, this is the hardware, right? So, this is the hardware. IQ is the hardware. OnePlus is the hardware. These all are the hardwares, right? So, again, so if you want to interact with the hardware, if you want to interact with the hardware, what you need, guys? Guys, what you need? So again, are you able to interact
Yeah.
with the hardware?
No.
Are you able to
Okay.
interact with the hardware?
No.
No. Are you able to interact with the Vivo directly without OS? IQ, OnePlus? No. We need a OS. So which OS is installed on the mobile, guys? Which OS? Android.
Android.
Android. Android
Android.
is the OS. Android is the
Oh,
OS. Android is the OS. Okay, Android OS. So how you are able to communicate with this hardware? So with the help of OS only. If there is no OS, so we are unable to communicate with this hardware. Same like as a same like as a so rise. So which ISP providers are using, guys? So which ISP providers are using? ISP is nothing but internet service providers. Which internet? Act, Beam,
Uh,
Act,
Act,
Geo,
Act,
Act,
Geo, sir.
Geo, Airtel, Airtel, right? So they are providing the routers for you. If you took the Wi-Fi, if you took the internet, they are providing a Wi-Fi routers, right? So these all are the Wi-Fi routers. These all are the Wi-Fi routers. This is also Wi-Fi routers. Wi-Fi routers. Okay. So after installation of a Act or Beam or Act or Geo Airtel, so you guys have changed your Wi-Fi username and password, right? You guys have changed Wi-Fi
yeah.
username and password. Wi-Fi username and password. You changed the Wi-Fi username and password. What this is? This is a hardware. Again, these all are the hardwares. How you changed the Wi-Fi username and password? Definitely, if you want to interact with any hardware, there will be a OS is installed. There will be a OS is installed. Guys, understood? So from now onwards, what you guys can remember, any video games or anything, if you are interacting with any hardware, if you are if you are interacting with any hardware, definitely there will be a OS is installed. That's why we are able to communicate with that hardware. Otherwise, we cannot communicate Otherwise, we cannot communicate. Otherwise, we cannot communicate with that hardware. Guys, now you understood? So from now onwards, if you are interacting with any hardware, either mobile phone or Wi-Fi routers or video games or laptops, anything, if you are interacting with any hardware, definitely there will be a OS is installed. Guys, understood? Yeah, very
Yes.
good. Next, so before coming to Linux, so types of operating types of operating system. So how many types of operating systems are there, guys? So we have a two types of operating systems. So single user operating system. Second one is multi-user operating system. Okay, single user operating system, multi-user operating system. Okay, so what is single user operating system? What is multi-user operating system? Okay, types of operating systems. Yes, how many types of operating systems? So we have two types of operating systems. So guys, in your laptop, how many users are connecting at a time? How many users are using at a time in your laptop?
One. One.
Only one people, right? So that is nothing but a single user operating system. Single user operating system. Yes, understood? So multi-user operating system. Multi-user operating system. So multi-user operating system is nothing but we can connect multiple people at a time. Okay, guys. So which laptop are you using? HP, right? HP, Dell. This is the HP. So for example, this is Dell. So you guys are installed a single user operating system called as a Windows 11, Windows 10. These all are the single user operating system, guys. So guys, who developed this Windows operating system? So which company is developed this Windows operating system?
Microsoft.
Very good. Which company? Microsoft company. So which company? So Microsoft company developed the Windows 10 or Windows 11. Okay. What is that? Windows 11, Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows XP. Okay, these all are the single user operating systems. So single user operating system. So the same Microsoft company created two types of OSs. So one is for single user operating system and the another one is for multi-user operating system. So what are those OSs? Windows
Windows
Server.
Server, Linux Server.
Yeah, 2016 Windows Server, 2012 Windows Server, 2008. Okay, same like as a Linux OS. So Linux OS. So
Yeah.
Linux OS is popular for the multi-user operating system. Linux OS is popular for the multi-user operating system. Guys, understood? Yeah. So right. So hardware companies also created two types of hardwares. So one is for single user operating system, another one is for multi-user operating system. So single user operating systems, what are the models? You already know that, right? For the single user operating system. So what are those? Dell Latitude. What this is? This is the Dell Latitude. So this is for the single user operating system. You already know Dell HP, this one, right? So same way, Dell company created two types of hardwares. So one is for server operating system, other one is for client operating system. It's right, a single user operating system and multi-user operating system. Guys, understood?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. So for example, so this is the Dell. Okay, so this is the multi-user operating system. So you already know the single user operating system. So few companies, Dell provided Latitude and PowerEdge. HP provided Proliant and EliteBook. Proliant and EliteBook. These all are they are created two types of hardwares. So Windows is a GUI operating system or CLI operating system. Windows is the GUI. What is the difference between GUI and CLI? GUI and CLI. Guys, does anyone
Uh,
knows the
yeah,
abbreviation of a CLI and GUI?
graphical user interface and command line
Yes, graphical user
interface.
interface. So command line user command line interface. So this is the example of Linux OS. So this is the example of Windows OS. Yes, understood? So Windows OS, Windows is installed with the help of images. So right, we can have a minimize, maximize, and open, close everything through images. So command line, Linux is the command line interface. Command line interface is nothing but how you can interact with the Linux. You can interact with the Linux through commands only. How you can interact with this Linux? You can interact with this Linux through commands only. EC2 icon user. Okay. PWD, LS. So MKDAR, right? How you are interacting with this OS? You are interacting with this OS through CLI. CLI is nothing but a command line interface. This is the command line interface. Same like as you are in Windows, right? There is a CMD. CMD, right? So this is the CMD. In this CMD, how you are interacting with the server? So you can interact with the DIR, MKDIR. I don't know how to create LS not working MKDIR. VSH batch. There. Yeah. So batch is created. Okay. CD BATH batch. Okay. PWD not working. DIR. Yeah. You are in the batch DIR. Okay. You are in the. Now you understood how you can interact with this Linux OS. You can interact with this OS through command line only. Yeah. Linux. Now you understood. Linux is popular for the multi-user operating system. So Linux is a CLI and portable and highly secure. Why Linux, guys? Nowadays, every application, Facebook, WhatsApp, so whatever the application you are seeing in the, so whatever the application we are seeing, right? For example, www dot something like enadu.net. So not every website, if you are searching in any website in the Google, right? So that website is hosted on Linux machine only. So why Linux is popular? Because of Linux is a portable and it's a open source. Linux is a open source and it's a portable and highly secure. So that is the reason most of the people are using Linux and deploying their applications. So for example, any application, banking application, health insurance application, or hospitality, or every domain applications will be they are deploying in the Linux server only. Where they are deploying? They are deploying it in this server. In this server, so which OS is installed? The Linux OS is installed. The Linux OS is installed. Guys, understood? Yeah. So this is the hardware. how you are interacting with this hardware, definitely there will be a OS is installed. So which OS is installed? Linux OS is installed for interacting with this hardware. For interacting with this hardware. Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So right, now you understood the types of OS operating system. So now you understood the Linux OS. So who developed the Linux? So Linux, yeah guys. So Linus Torvald. Okay. So Linus Torvald. So in 1991, studied in one of the university, and his mentor is asked to create a new OS based on the Unix OS. What is that? So his mentor is asking to create a new OS based on the Unix OS. Then he created the OS called as a Minix. What is that? So Minix OS. He created the Linus Torvald created the Minix Minix OS. So, but Minix OS having some drawbacks like so there is no network. Then he think and he overcome those changes and created a new OS, and he is thinking to put the new name for that OS. What is that? He created a new OS. This is the Minix, and he created a new OS, and he is thinking to put the new name for this OS. Okay, so what he done? He overcome all the challenges, and this OS is working fine. Okay, then he decided to put the new name for this OS. So new name for this OS. He took the first four letters from his name and last letter from Unix. So what is the first four letters, guys? So what is the first four letters from his name? Guys, speak out. What is the first four letters? Linu. Linus Tro. So what is that? Trovald. Linus Trovald. First four letters from his name. Linu. And last letter from Unix. What is that? UNIX. Okay. So UNIX. Last letter from his name. And took the first four letters from his name and last letter from the Unix. Then it created a new OS called as a, guys speak out. What is that, guys?
Linux.
Yeah. Guys, now you understood how Linux came into the picture. So in 1991, Linus Torvald, in 1991, he studied in one of the university, and his mentor is asking to create a new OS. Then he created a new OS called as a Minix OS. So Minix having some drawbacks, and he overcome those drawbacks, and he created a new OS and thinking to put the new name for this. Right. Then he decided he took the first four letters from his name and last letter from X. Then he created as a Linux OS. Guys, understood how Linux came into the picture? Yeah.
Sir.
He released as a open source. What is that? He released as a open source. What is open source, guys? So what is open source? Does anyone knows? One is free
Free
of
of cost.
cost,
Yeah.
and second source code also
Available.
available. So what is source code, guys? Source code is nothing but if you want to develop a Facebook application. So how we will develop the Facebook application? So Facebook application will develop it through the PHP language, and we need a developers, PHP developers to develop the website, right? To develop the code. The same way, so how he created the Linux OS? Linux OS is a software. How he created the Linux OS? He created the Linux OS through C language, right? He wrote the some programs in the C language. So that programs are nothing but a software. That software is nothing but a Linux OS, right? Those code also they provided as a freely. They provided as a freely. So everyone took that source code and created their own type of OS images. So for example, if you have the Facebook code, if you have the Facebook code, wherever the Facebook is, wherever the Facebook is there in the code. So right, so I replaced as a book face instead of book Facebook. I replaced as a book face. I replaced as a book face and I released as a book face. Right. The same way. So some of the companies are took that source code and created their own type of OSs. Created their own type of Linux OSs. Yes, now we understood what is the difference between open source and commercial. So open source is nothing but it's a freely available and source code also available. Source code also available. Yes, understood. Yeah. So some of the companies are took that source code and created their own type of OSs, guys. Some of the Linus Torvald released as a open open source. Right. So every company took the source code and created their own type of company. So IBM company took that source code and created their own type of OS called as a AIX Linux OS. Same way, HP company also took that source code and created their own OS called as a UX Linux OS. Okay. Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems also took that source code and they created their own OS called as a Solaris Linux OS. Okay. Red Hat INC took that source code and created their own OS called as a. They created three types of OSs. Fedora is R&D purpose. CentOS for freeware. Red Hat OS, Red Hat Linux OS for commercial. Okay. So same way, Oracle INC also took that source code and created their own OS called as a Oracle Linux. Oracle Linux. So the same way, Amazon, is it? Amazon ANC took that source code and created their own voice called as a Amazon Linux 2023. Amazon Linux 2. Okay. Yeah, this is 22. Yeah. So TPN company took that source code and created their own voice called as a Ubuntu OS. So some of the companies are using SUSE Linux, SUSE Linux, FreeBSD Linux, SUSE Linux, Kali Linux, right? Kali Linux. mm, Rocky Linux. So FreeBSD, Kali, SUSE, Rocky Linux. We have in n number of Linux services. So we have n number of Linuxes. Guys, so in this course, so what we will learn? So we will learn the Red Hat INC provided. What is that? Red Hat INC provided OS. Okay. If you learn the Red Hat INC, right? The Oracle Linux, Amazon Linux, both are same. It's a copy from the Red Hat Linux. It's a copy from the same, whatever the commands we are executing in the Red Hat Fedora CentOS, the same commands will execute in the Amazon Linux and Oracle Linux. These two are the copied from the Red Hat only, Red Hat INC only. Guys, understood? So this is nothing but a, so the OSs. So the OSs. So which OS we are learning on this course? So we are learning on this course. Which OS, guys? So OS is, so Red Hat, Fedora. Yeah. So what this OS is? The OS's version starts from CentOS. CentOS 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The current version is 9. So Red Hat also same. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oracle Linux also same, it's a copy, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Amazon Linux 2, comma 2023. Okay. So in this course, what we will learn? We will learn the CentOS 9. Guys, understood? CentOS 9. So we are learning CentOS 9. Why we need a OS, guys? If you want to interact with this OS, definitely we need a. If you want to interact with this hardware, definitely we need a OS. Right, guys? So what is CentOS? CentOS is the Linux OS. So it's a multi-user operating system. What is this, guys? Multi-user operating system. Multi-user operating system. So we can communicate with multiple users. We can communicate with multiple users. Guys, understood?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very. For example, this is the WhatsApp, guys. What this is? WhatsApp website. So in the WhatsApp website, so what we are doing, guys, in the WhatsApp website, so what we are doing, yeah. So what this is the app server and this is the DB server. What this is, guys? This is the app server and app server and DB server. Okay. So what app server contains? So app server is nothing but the application front end. The application front end, right? So this is nothing but a WhatsApp server. Yeah, you see, so this is the front end. So this is the front end application. So right. So for the front end purpose, so we can use the app server. So for the front end, right? Whatever the developer develop that code, right? That code for is for the front end browser application. So right. So for example, sign up, uploading videos or downloading video, uploading images, videos. So we need a storage, right? So for that purpose, so we will use the database server to store the images and images and videos. Okay, to store the images and videos. Guys, how many servers we need for developing the WhatsApp application? So we need two servers. One is Dell, one is app server, one is app server, other one is DB server, right? So for example, what this is the app server and this is the DB server. Okay, this is the app server and this is the DB server. First, what we need, you want to interact with this software, or you can interact with this hardware. Definitely, there will be a OS is installed. What is needed? So, yeah, if you want to deploy, or if you want to deploy application, so what are the requirements? We need a OS. Which OS is installed? Linux OS. And you wrote the code through a Java. We need a Java. Where we can deploy the server, where we can deploy the code. We can deploy the code through a web server. That web server is a Tomcat web server. That web server is Tomcat web server. Then you can deploy your code. Deploy your code, right? So here, what you need a first how you can interact with this OS through the Linux OS. Then we need a database, for example, Oracle or MySQL or MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB, Cassandra. Okay, MySQL, Oracle, MariaDB, right? So these all are the database softwares. You can use these database softwares and you can deploy the application. So once you deploy the application, right, the people who are the end users will connect with this software. The end users will connect with this software, right? These are the end users, guys. So these are the end users. So they are hitting the application. 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 Guys, understood how they set up, how they are setting their application. Okay, guys, understood, guys. So
Yes,
question,
sir.
the task is for tomorrow. Task: what is website? What is website? What is static website? What is dynamic website? Guys, I will ask you this, guys. You guys can search it in the YouTube, Google, whatever it may be, guys. Chat GPT. I need an answer for this, guys. Tomorrow I will tell you. So, what is a static website? What is a dynamic website? First of all, what is a website? Okay. So, we'll tell you tomorrow. Yeah. Yep, guys. So, Habi Sayed, why you are not answering the questions? Why you are not talking? Okay, guys. So, we'll continue from tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay.